President-elect Donald Trump announcing fresh picks for his top post in his administration. Comes as Vice President-elect J.D. Vance congratulates Stephen Miller for being chosen as Trump's Deputy Chief of Staff. NTD's White House correspondent Iris Tao brings us more from West Palm Beach.
Hunkering down at Mar-a-Lago right here in West Palm Beach, President-elect Trump has been meeting with his transition team and new administration hopefuls to prepare for his return to the White House. Amid an array of new announcements, Trump says he's tapping New York Congressman Lee Zeldin to lead the Environmental Protection Agency. Trump, highlighting Zeldin's legal background, says he'll ensure deregulatory decisions while maintaining the highest environmental standards. A vocal supporter of Trump, Zeldin also spoke at Trump's rally in Long Island, New York earlier this year.
Is Long Island ready to send Donald Trump back to the White House?
Trump's also tapping longtime advisor Stephen Miller, an immigration hardliner, as his deputy chief of policy.
And we're putting American families first on immigration.
Vice President-elect J.D. Vance confirming that appointment, calls Miller a fantastic pick. And Trump on Monday also formally announced his nomination for New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik to be the UN ambassador, saying she will deliver peace through strength and America First policies. Stefanik, the highest-ranking woman in Congress with positions on the House Armed Service and Intelligence Committees, has been a vocal ally of Trump and a staunch defender of Israel.
As long as I serve the American people, I will defend George Washington's vision of religious pluralism and freedom. Today, this means crushing anti-Semitism at home and supplying the state of Israel with what it needs, when it needs it, without conditions to achieve total victory in the face of evil.
And on Sunday night, Trump unveiled that Tom Homan, his former acting director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, will be in charge of the nation's borders. And Trump says Homan will be in charge of all deportation of illegal aliens, which Homan says will begin on January 20th.
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
I don't care if you're a Republican, a Democrat, or independent. Border security is national security. We should all be on the same side of that.
The transition efforts comes as Trump is set to meet with President Biden at the White House on Wednesday morning. While President Obama also had such a meeting with Trump back in 2016, Trump did not invite President Biden for one back in 2020. This will be the first time that the two talked after the June CNN debate, which ultimately led to Biden's withdrawal from the presidential race. Reporting from West Palm Beach, Iris Tao, NTD News.
President Biden and Vice President Harris paying respects to fallen veterans at Arlington National Cemetery today. It's the first time the two have appeared together publicly since Harris lost the election. NTD's Washington correspondent Jack Bradley has more from the White House. So, Jack, what was Biden's Veterans Day message to the nation?
Well, Steve, President Biden honored America's military veterans in his last speech at Arlington National Cemetery as Commander-in-Chief. He spoke about the personal sacrifices that each military veteran goes through when they sign their lives in service to the country.
We have many obligations, but only one truly sacred obligation. Sacred. To prepare those we send into harm's way and to care for them and their families when they return home and when they don't. It's an obligation, not based on party or politics, but on a promise that unites us all. And today, as we strive on to finish the work of our moment, to bind the nation's wounds once again, we commit and recommit to this sacred vow.
Veterans Affairs Secretary Dennis McDonough accompanied President Biden and Vice President Harris at the wreath-laying ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. This was Harris's first public appearance since her concession speech last Wednesday. It was also the first time Biden and Harris appeared publicly since she lost the election. President Biden's son, Beau, was a veteran who served in Iraq in 2008. He died of brain cancer in 2015. While at the ceremony, President Biden also defended his controversial withdrawal of American troops from Afghanistan back in 2021. It resulted in the deaths of 13 American servicemen and hundreds of Afghans.
4 presidents faced a decision after we had gotten bin Laden whether to end our longest war in history in Afghanistan. I was determined not to leave it to the fifth. Every day I still carry a card with me, my schedule every single day for the last 10 years. On the back of my schedule it says, U.S. daily troops in Afghanistan. U.S. troops died in Afghanistan as of today, 2,465.
Now, Biden's term may be up in about 70 days, but he's still passing new legislation. At the ceremony, he expanded the PACT Act, which provides health care services to military veterans that were exposed to toxic chemicals at military bases.
PACT Act has already helped over 1 million veterans and their families get the benefits they deserve. They deserve those benefits. Today, I'm proud to announce that the VA will expand the number of cancers covered under the PACT Act.
President Biden will host President-elect Donald Trump at the Oval Office on Wednesday to discuss the transition of power, a traditional meeting between presidents and incoming presidents. Steve, back to you.
And turning our attention to Capitol Hill, where Utah Senator Mike Lee is now offering to personally escort Dave McCormick into the new senator orientation. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has not invited McCormick due to the ongoing election race in Pennsylvania. McCormick is currently leading Democratic incumbent Bob Casey in that Pennsylvania Senate race. The Associated Press calling the race, declaring McCormick the winner. But over 100,000 ballots remain to be tallied despite not receiving an invitation. McCormick today says he will attend the Senate's orientation this week. Schumer also blocking Arizona candidate Ruben Gallego from attending. The AP has not called Gallego's race, and current Senator Bob Casey of Pennsylvania has yet to concede. The balance of power in Congress is still hanging in the balance. Republicans in the Senate and the House will have leadership elections this week, and President-elect Trump is weighing in on those contested races. Our Washington correspondent Luis Martinez joins us with the latest.
The votes are still being counted in the Arizona Senate race. Democratic Congressman Ruben Gallego is ahead in the polls. We can see here Democratic Congressman Ruben Gallego 3 points ahead of Republican contender Kari Lake. We still have 92% of the votes counted. And this is despite former President Donald Trump carrying the state of Arizona with more than 7 points. And early data suggests this is not due to ticket splitting. We can see here in the state of Nevada, for example, that 680,000 people voted for Democratic incumbent Jackie Rosen, and 684,000 people voted for Vice President Kamala Harris. So a very strong correlation of people who voted for Democratic Senate candidate and Democratic presidential candidate. But when we look at Sam Brown, the Republican senatorial contender, he received 659,000 votes. But former President Donald Trump received in that state of Nevada 729,000 votes. So we see that over 120,000 people in Nevada casted their ballots for former President Donald Trump for the presidency, but did not cast a vote in down-the-ballot races. Senate Republicans will hold their leadership elections this Wednesday, and Senator Rick Scott leads the race with 5 senators already endorsing him thus far, including Senator Marco Rubio and Senator Rand Paul.
Now, with regard to the Senate Majority Leader race, I think I'm going to win because I'm talking to my colleagues about what they want. And here's what they want. They want change. They want to be part of the process. They want to be treated as equals. They want somebody that has a relationship with Trump. They want somebody that has a plan. They want somebody that has a relationship with the House. I've got a great working relationship with Donald Trump. He supported me when I ran against McConnell 2 years ago. I've got a great working relationship with the Speaker in the House. And I think that they want somebody that's going to get things done. Business guys. I'm a business guy. We get our stuff done.
Republicans are leading in the race to keeping control of the House of Representatives. As we can see here in the graph, Republicans are over 10 seats ahead of Democrats and are leading in the very crucial races in the states of California, Washington, and of course here in Iowa, also one of the toss-up races that will determine the House balance of power. House Republicans will also hold their leadership elections this week, and Speaker of the House Mike Johnson is expected to retain his gavel, while former President Donald Trump has tapped Congressman Elise Stefanik as his new ambassador for the United Nations. The new leaders of the House Republican Conference and the Senate Republican Conference will have to tackle government funding for fiscal year 2025 before the December 20th deadline in order to avoid a government shutdown. Reporting from Washington, D.C., Luis Eduardo Martinez, NTD News.
An Israeli spokesperson today confirming that Israel's prime minister approved the pager attacks on Hezbollah terrorists in Lebanon. This comes as Israel's finance minister says the country is preparing for sovereignty over Israeli settlements in the West Bank.
The year 2025 will be, God willing, the year of sovereignty in Judea and Samaria. I have instructed the Settlement Division in the Ministry of Defense and the civil administration to begin professional and comprehensive work to prepare the necessary infrastructure for applying sovereignty.
The finance minister who oversees West Bank settlements for Israel's defense ministry believes President-elect Trump's victory presents a significant opportunity for Israel. He expressed hopes of working with the Trump administration to gain recognition of Israeli sovereignty over West Bank settlements. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu authorized pager attacks against Hezbollah terrorists, as confirmed by his office spokesperson. 2 months ago, thousands of pagers exploded simultaneously in Hezbollah strongholds throughout Lebanon. The Israeli military has not commented on that incident, which resulted in 39 deaths and over 3,400 injuries during that two-day operation. And fighting continues in Ukraine today amid deadly attacks. How can the next Trump administration affect war? NTD's international correspondent Arian Pazdar has the latest on Russia, starting with an update from the situation in the battlefield.
At least 5 people are dead after a Russian attack on a city in southern Ukraine. That's according to the local state emergency service. In the capital city of Kyiv, meanwhile, people sheltering in a metro station on Monday night. Fighting also continues in Russia's Kursk region. Ukraine's military released this footage, saying it shows strikes on Russian troops in the region. Fighting there started after Ukraine launched an incursion into Russia earlier this year. Now, President-elect Trump also announced that former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley and former State Secretary Mike Pompeo won't be part of Trump's next administration. Both of them served under Trump during his first term, and they both also support aiding Ukraine. Trump added that he very much enjoyed and appreciated working with them previously and would like to thank them for their service to our country. Trump previously said that he wants to stop the fighting in Ukraine, suggesting he's not going to send as much aid as the Biden administration did. Republican Senator Bill Hagerty commented on the Ukraine situation, saying the American people want sovereignty protected here in America. We've sent $175 billion of U.S. aid to Ukraine, which is 3 times the Marine Corps' annual budget. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan saying the Biden administration will try to aid Ukraine as much as possible before Trump takes over. By January 20th, we'll have sent the full amount of resources and aid to Ukraine that Congress has authorized. Also on Monday, the Kremlin commented on an alleged phone call between President Vladimir Putin and President-elect Trump.
It is completely untrue. It is pure fiction. It is simply false information.
He clarified that there was no phone call between the two. The Washington Post first reported that the conversation had taken place. The outlet cited unidentified sources, saying that Trump told Putin he should not escalate the Ukraine war. The Kremlin now says there are no plans yet for Putin to speak with Trump. Arian Pazdar, NTD News.
A flight from Florida to Haiti hit by gunfire this afternoon. Now Haiti's main international airport has paused operations, and Spirit, JetBlue, and American Airlines have all suspended flights to that country. According to the U.S. Embassy, gangs are trying to prevent travel in and out of Haiti's capital. They shot at the plane as it was coming in for landing. One flight attendant was grazed, and the plane diverted to the Dominican Republic. Haiti today swore in another new interim prime minister who promised to restore peace in the war-torn nation. In other areas of that city, gangs shot at police and set fire to homes. It's been 8 years since Haiti held an election. Thank you for watching the Capitol Report. If you want to see our full broadcast, check us out at epochtv.com.